Hey everybody, Nathan Nile here, and I just wanted to do this because I did a review of Man of Steel and I couldn't find my blanket. But yeah, I wanted to have the cape, so I decided to go ahead and do a whole brand new video just talking about the character of Superman. And I said in my review that I more closely identify with Superman, and I wanted to talk about why. Because between the two, I've always preferred Batman, and I've always rooted for him because I think he's a much cooler character. You know, he fights cooler villains, and he does it all with his brain, and I think that's an amazing thing. But for me personally, I've always more closely identified with the character of Superman because of who he is as a person and who I am as a person. So let's talk about Superman as a person. Who is he? Well, what is he about? In the first place, let's talk about the fact that both of these superheroes, Batman and Superman, they put up fronts. Because Batman, he's always like, no, I want to be alone, leave me alone. But he's got sidekicks coming out of his ass. If you've actually read every single Batman storyline, he's had like 30 different people who have been sidekicks or stand-ins or part-time fill-ins when he was away. You know, like I said, he's got sidekicks coming out of his ass. He's built up this whole family empire over there in Gotham. Whereas Superman, he's had like 2 sidekicks as far as I can remember. And neither of them were by choice. They were just 2 people who just kept following him around and he couldn't get rid of. So Batman, even, he puts up a front saying that, he wants to be secluded from society when really he's only doing it out of concern for other people because he knows that he's not capable of protecting everybody. Whereas Superman, he acts like he wants to be part of society, he acts like he's one of everybody else, but he knows that he's different. Superman, he came from another planet and he spent his whole life trying to fit in, knowing that he was different, not really being able to make a lot of great lifetime friends. I definitely identify with that because me, from 6 years old to 10 years old, I honestly believe that I was from another planet, like maybe Mars or Jupiter, and I was sitting here just to learn about these strange beings called humans. Because, I don't know, I was one of those weird kids where, everything that made sense to them made no sense to me, and everything that made sense to me made no sense to them. I mean, I was able to teach myself higher math. I was already multiplying and dividing fractions before they knew what 1 plus 1 was. I could read entire chapter books. I was reading on a college level before they could finish a 6-page picture book on their own. And yet, I couldn't tie my shoes. I had no idea what personal space was. And so there were a lot of things like about me that just, I felt so different that I created this entire origin story in my head about how I came from another planet to observe this race so that we would know all of their strengths and weaknesses for when we came down to take over. And so I kind of identify with that part of Superman and his psyche about the whole, growing up, even though you're part of the world, you still feel like you're secluded away from the rest of it. I mean, yeah, Batman has his Batcave, but how many chicks has he taken down there? I mean, seriously. Superman, he's got the Fortress of Solitude, and, he's the only one there. The only other people who know about it are other heroes, who, after a while, he finally trusts them to bring them down there and show them around just a little bit. Plus, if you've ever heard of the phrase Superman complex, that basically embodies what I am, and of course it embodies what Superman is. It's the whole idea of, Superman, he can take bullets, and so because of that, he wants to take all the bullets. He's always so willing to lead the charge. He's always willing to just dive headfirst into battle and let everyone else follow behind because they can drop a nuke on his ass and he'll still just keep going. And that, he feels like he can do it all, and because of that, he puts it all on himself. He puts the weight of the world on his shoulders because he knows he's the strongest man on the planet and he's capable of carrying all that weight. And unfortunately, I've felt that way in so many different instances. I am the definition of a survivor. It doesn't matter where I am in life, I'll be able to make it work for me. I feel like I can bend the will of this planet to suit me. I've lived a life of luxury where I've had nothing to complain about. I've lived a life of poverty where I was living in the street and had everything to complain about. And yet in neither of those situations did I ever really feel like I was necessarily struggling. I mean, technically at this moment in time, I'm low class. I'm barely making enough money to get by, and yet still, I'm happy with the life that I lead. I find the things that work for me. I work with my budget. I make sure not to spend more money than I'm making. I make sure to save a little bit every day, and I make sure to take time out of every day to find things that I truly enjoy. I'm a survivor. No matter what situation I find myself in, I'll be able to see myself through it. That's how I've been able to go from sleeping on a bus stop to living here in my own apartment for the first time ever. And I find ways to make things happen, and so for me, when I see other people, I'd rather just say, get the fuck out of the way and just let me handle this. That's kind of how I am in every situation, no matter what job I've had or whether we're working on a project at school. My thought has always been, I don't care how good you think you are, I'm better, so just leave this alone, let the big boys handle this. That's always been an issue that I've had. I've always had trouble asking for help because I was raised to believe that real men don't ask for help. You just go out there and you get it done. And so I've always seen complaining as a weakness, and it's a weakness that I never wanted to admit that I had. I usually try not to complain about anything. I have trouble asking someone for help because it means admitting that there's something I can't do. And it took me a while to learn that, I can't save everyone because not everyone wants to be saved. So, I hope you enjoyed this. This was just a small little quickie. I don't even know what to call it. It was a character profile of Superman, who is, for lack of a better term, he's the greatest superhero ever, just because he does have so much powers and he is so incredible. And one of the reasons I did love Man of Steel so much, I was one of the people arguing against it because they could become so used to him wearing that red underwear and being, having kryptonite as a weakness. But, when I had a second chance to think back on it, I've always hated those things about him, and I was happy to see them be taken away because, with the red underwear, it's just, why? I think every one of us who's enjoyed Superman at one point in time, we've always asked ourselves, why? Why do you feel the need to put underwear on your suit? What is the reason for that? What is the thinking behind this? And as far as kryptonite is concerned, yes, I understand why they did it. He's too perfect. That's one of the things I've hated about Superman. He's basically immortal. So, they need to give him some sort of weakness, something that other people can take advantage of. But at the same time, really, dude, bullets bounce off of you, you can carry planes off your back, and you're allergic to a fucking rock. Seriously? So that was my little tangent, and I hope you enjoyed me ranting and raving about a superhero that I've been paying close attention to my entire life. And I'm gonna go save the world now, or at least leap over a very tall building. Bye!